Zdravo svima i dobrodošli u Masin Podkast. Danas u studiju imamo posebnu gošću. Rođena u Moskvi, odrasla u Londonu, a danas je deo umetničke scene Srbije. Ona donosi vrlo zanimljive priče iz različitih zemalja i kultura, a u studiju je moja draga prijateljica, glumica i producentkinja Anastasia Everall. Anastasia, dobro mi došla i to direktno iz Londona, pravo kod mene u studio.
Ma da, 4 sata išli sa koljemom. A ako može, ja odgovorim sve na engleskom.
Važi,
samo da
ja pričam na
srpskom, a ja na engleskom.
Da, ali za par meseci, samo da kažem, Anastasija ozbiljno uči srpski jezik, zato ćemo sada da je progledamo kroz prsti i da pričamo sa njom srpsko-engleski, ali za nekoliko meseci dolaziš ponovo kod mene i pričamo samo na srpskom.
Ma da, a ti na engleskom, da?
Dogovoreno.
Pitaš mene, ja odgovorim na srpskom, super.
Dogovoreno. Ali čekaj, reci mi sada to, znači koliko si ti u stvari putovala, gde si ti bila i kako si ti ovde došla, Anastasija? I s kim si sve došla?
Oh, Bože, so I had to, zato što smo počinili snimanje, and I have 2 dogs who were in London, so I couldn't leave them there, and I had to fly back to London for 1 day, and then take the 2 dogs, and we drove for 4 days.
From London, od Londona do Francuske, gde si sve prošla, čoveče?
Evo, London, Francuska, Nemačka, Austrija i poslije...
Slovačka.
Da, Slovačka i Beograd.
Dobro, ali ovo je kraj priče. Znači, došli smo do sadašnjeg momenta. Mi sad idemo na neki početak priče, Anastasija. Kao što moja najava kaže, rođena si u Moskvi, u Rusiji.
Da.
Sada me zanima, ti si kao vrlo mlada otišla, preselila se sa svojom porodicom u London. Koje si ti škole, si išla u školu kad si bila u Moskvi, u neki vrtić, i šta je ono što si tamo naučila od nekih, da li neko vaspitanje, kulturu, šta si pokupila iz tog nekog odrastanja u Rusiji? I da li znaš ruski jezik, je li tako?
Ma da, znam ruski jezik, ali I can't really say much about Moscow or Russia in general, because from 4 years old I was in London. But it was like a good mix of, you go to school with English people and that's a totally different culture. And then at home it's a very like Russian, Slavic mentality. Razumiješ?
Da, znači odličan spoj zapravo svih različitih tih kultura i tradicija.
Da.
Ali eto, sad smo već tako brzo došli do Londona. Ti nisi, ja sam u najavi rekla da si ti glumica i producentkinja, zapravo si ti mnogo više od toga. Ti si završila i balet, ti si bila i novinar, ti si se bavila i humanitarnim radom. Tako da, verujem da od svega toga prvo bio balet. Kako je došlo do toga da se ti uopšte baviš baletom i koliko ti je balet bio značajan za ovo čime se baviš danas, to jest glumom?
Da, bavila sam baletom, mislim, oko 13 godina. I završila Royal School of Ballet in London. But, I don't know, for some reason I never wanted to be ballerina.
Zašto?
Ne znam. I always wanted to act and be an actress, and I really liked theatre and being on stage, and I really wanted to do like film and kind of go into more into that direction. But I guess ballet taught me how do I say it? It kind of trained my character. So I became more tougher, and it's like a mentality of never give up. It's like if door A doesn't open, then door B maybe will open. If not door B, you have C, D, E and dalje.
Da. A u kom momentu dolazi onda to novinarstvo? Jesi ti već u nekom momentu paralelno bila na baletu i novinarstvu ili ne?
Ne. Ja htjela da idem u univerzitet za glumu, samo glumu, ali moji roditelji ona rekli ne.
Što?
Ne možeš. Well, because they didn't really see it as a profession. And they said that actors are, they don't have money, they never have work, it's very tough. Like, they don't have any connections. In London, it's a very big industry, and you kind of have to know at least someone who can open you, the first door. So I went and studied political science and philosophy, and after went as a journalist, political journalist, worked for how many? 2 years. 2.5. And then one day I was like, I'm just going to try to apply to a drama school.
I u tom momentu oni nisu znali da ćeš ti da apliciraš?
Ne.
I šta se onda dešava?
And I had an idea in my head. I was like, okay, I want to go to Drama Centre London. And if I get in, I'm never going to give up and I'm going to, continue the acting path. But if I don't get in, then I'll forget about my dream forever. With no regrets. And I got in 5 days. And I was like, yes.
Pa čekaj, kako su tvoji roditelji reagovali kada si im rekla da prosto da ćeš se baviš glumom?
Ma, tad bilo je okay, znaš, zato što I had a job, I had money, I was already living, I was married, so I had a life, and I was an adult, so that was kind of my decision.
Koliko si godina tada imala?
22? Da, 22. Ili 21, nešto tako.
Bože, toliko mlada. I sad to što kažeš, živjela si bukvalno neki svoj život i već si bila udata, što je stvarno u tim godinama neverovatno da si ti već bila ozbiljna žena, već tako mlada. Tako da kako si se nosila sa svim tim stvarima, jer opet koliko god imaš tu 21 godinu i da si sve to radila, opet si nekako dete i dalje. Znaš, tek ulaziš u ceo jedan životno potpuno.
Mislim, znaš, može na engleskom?
Može.
Može.
Me to speak on English too?
Ma ne, samo ovo pitanje.
Da. Ti pričaj na engleskom, da.
Ne, to možeš da kažeš pitanja.
I will speak, okay.
Ne, to je, ja zamislila ti pitaš za muža, kako da radila kao novinar, ne.
Pa dragi moji, sada se prebacujemo kratko na engleski jezik, umeđu vremenu ćete možda čuti još srpskog, ali vidjet ćemo još šta će se dešavati do kraja. Okay, I will ask a question one more. My question was, you were really young when you were 21 and you already been married and have your job and your dream and everything. So how tough that was for you to live that mature life when you were that young?
Well, when I was 21, my mom passed away. I think that was the first time when I actually grew up because I have a small brother and, a mourning grandmother and a dad. And so I became, and technically a fiance, a husband, another child.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of become my mom in my family, which is a bit tough because, as a child, you're not supposed to take on a role of an adult because I'm the daughter, so my dad should have taken care of everyone, but I felt like everything is falling apart. And I think that's why I decided to, had this deal with myself about acting.
Yeah.
I was like, look, if I want to change my life, then probably I need to
is your
follow
way,
my dream and
it's very brave for you to speak about your mom because mostly people don't want to talk about that. And I know from your stories how close you were to your mom. So what helped you the most to go past that emotions when that happened?
Time. I think only time. I feel there is always a point, life before and life after. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because time heals you, obviously.
Is that true?
Yes. But it's a very different life, I can't just pick up right now and be like, Mom, hi. So, but in a way I feel her presence and I think somewhere there she's helping me, maybe guiding.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure about that. Yeah. But then there is your first role. It was a short movie, I think. Mm-hmm. So how did you get that role? And before that question, I wanted to ask you how hard is to find any role, for example, in UK. That's also hard in Serbia to do. But do you have some agent or how it works in UK? Because that's a really, really, really big country.
Well, now I have an agent, thank God. He's from America. But you have to have an agent, 100%. An agent or a manager, and then a publicist.
All of that.
All of that, yeah. Who it's like a team, like a virtual team, right? Like an online office.
Yeah.
And everyone works for your benefit. Yes, but when I started, I didn't have an agent. I finished university and COVID happened.
Oh, so everything happened to you at the same time.
Yes.
But did you find your first role, or how did you get your first role there?
Yeah, the first role I found through a friend for the short film. Then the second short film, it was the same team, so they kind of invited me again. And then Serbia.
And then we'll come to Serbia. But before that, I wanted to ask you, because you're from Russia and you have that Russian accent, is that better or worse for you, for example, because of that accent, maybe they're putting you in the same roles, let's say same roles, because of your look is also more like Balkan, Russian, than like UK or America. So is that helpful for you or no?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. But I think at this point, no one really sees me as a Russian because I have only a Russian name and I don't have a Russian surname. And it's kind of handy to be able to do a Russian accent. But then I can do like RP, learning American, nearly there, Irish.
How many languages do you speak? Do you know? And how many accents do you know?
I guess 2 full languages and 2 half languages. 2 half is Serbian and French, right? But we're getting there.
Yeah, but especially Serbian. So, like you said, next time when we are here, like Serbian talk only. Samo srpski. And then Serbia happened. I think that when you started your acting career, you didn't think that you will end up here.
No.
No. Piper, no.
It's not even no, like in a bad thing. It's just I never actually thought about, I'll finish university and start working in Serbia, and I've never been to Serbia. So it wasn't like on the top of my head. But yeah, I'm really happy and glad it happened.
And how did it happen? And what do you think about Serbia before you came here? Before you know everything, what is going on here?
Well, I didn't really have an opinion because I was like, Serbia, I've never been. It's a Balkan country, ex-Yugoslavia. I didn't really know much about it. And then I got my first role actually, in a film. It wasn't like a small role. It was like a big one.
Yeah.
And I had a friend, she's an opera singer.
Okay.
In Russia. And I know she has an agent in London. So during COVID, I called her and I was like, can you please talk to your agent, maybe, some acting agents, and they can look at my resume and maybe like we can talk. And then she said that she can't do that because they don't have connections within the acting world. But she has a Serbian producer that you never know. And that you never know happened. So perfect.
And then you come here, and your first role was Južni vetar.
Južni vetar, da, drugo da.
And you spoke on English, I think, English. But still you needed to know Serbian because you needed to talk with other people here. So how did it happen when you come here? For how long you were in Serbia, and how was your first opinion when you came here?
Oh, I loved it. I was like, wow, this is like a proper country, ljudi, atmosfera, energija, hrana, sam grad.
At that moment, I think you were vegetarian, yeah?
Yes.
But you come to live like in a city where everyone eats meat. So how hard for you at that moment?
Ne, super, šopska salata I potaš. To je to. Šta još treba za život? U životu.
Ništa više.
Ne, ništa više.
But then all that actors that you were working with and everything, how hard was for you to get into that acting groups in Serbia? Because you're someone who is not from here. So was it hard for you to get into that cruise?
I guess not really, because, once you're doing one film, then you kind of go with the bigger actors and they kind of help you get other roles. Yeah. And then now I'm with Slavic agency. So they get me different castings, different auditions in Serbia.
You now have more connections here. But what
But
is like...
Uskoro? Uskoro. I will have Serbian accent. Pričam. Ne, budem.
Šta?
Budem, pričam.
Pričat ćeš?
Pričat ću. Srpski, baš je dobro.
Dobre. But also what I need to ask you is like, you were filming in UK, in Serbia and everything, in a big like movie industries. What is the difference between that industries and Serbian industry? Because I think there is a big difference there. But what is the main thing there? Did they have more money or time or people that work on set on? What is that difference?
I think with money and budgets, definitely. As for an actor, it's kind of the same, because our journey is we do a casting, so like first self-tape, and then we have like in-person audition, and then we start working.
Yeah.
But I guess like the main difference is that there everything's a bit divided. You know, actors stick with the group of like directors and producers, and you don't really know people who are working on set because you never see them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because you go on set, you do your scene, and then you go into the trailer. Whereas in Serbia, everyone's like, it's like
Community,
filmska parodica, razumiješ?
Da,
a tamo filmska parodica samo sa glumcem i redateljem.
Why is that like that?
Ne znam. I think it's a bit like bigger and more people, and that's why it's a bit separated. And also say like if you have on set, I don't know, like Tom Cruise, razumeš?
Yeah.
To moraš te.
Did you meet any of that famous actors all around the world? You were also on Cannes Festival.
Yeah.
Did you have an opportunity to meet someone?
Zaboravila ime. Upoznala, ona je igrala u filmu Everywhere All at Once. Glavnu ulogu.
Oh, I think I know the actor, but I don't know. I have in my head, but I don't have like...
Da.
Yeah. But where did you meet her?
Cannes.
Yeah.
Cannes.
And
but we have the same agent.
Oh,
so that was the reason,
good.
yeah.
And that festivals, are they really important to actors to go there? Not only Cannes Festival, like any other. Is that really important? For not only for actors, for producers, for directors, for script writers.
I think it depends what's your agenda. Mm-hmm. So if you have a script that you want to, I don't know, kind of find sponsors or some sort of budget or partners, then you go to the market, and that's very helpful. If you're just going there, you might meet, like have connections with someone, meet someone new. Like you never know.
Yeah. But when you say script, I know that you are writing some scripts.
Yes.
So is it normal now in your job to be also an actor, but scriptwriter, but producer? Everything in one. So what you like the most about that three, and what are you writing about these days? Can you say anything about that? Because I know that you have few ideas. I don't know if you want to say publicly, but...
Well, we are writing, I have a co-writer.
Mm-hmm.
So we are writing now about Turkish atrocities in Bulgaria, dated back to 76. Oh my God. So we have a pilot ready and a Bible.
Everything.
Well, for the pitch.
For the pitch deck,
yes.
Wow.
As of today. Yeah.
And how hard for you is to find that historical things about, not only about that thing that you're writing, but generally when you're making some of your roles or something, how did they give to you that historical things or any other things that you need to know, or you need to search for yourself?
Well, I do research on by myself. So this one, because I was kind of living back then between Serbia and Bulgaria, I came across this historical detail in one of articles that I was reading just for fun, and started digging, like going more in it, and then found this whole story around it, and It's beautiful.
I hope that in few years we can see that.
Yes.
We can see that really. But at one moment of your life, something happened. That something is The Crown. One of the really most famous TV shows of the UK and everything. And you were part of that. You played Olga Romanov, yeah. How did you go there? Who called you to be there? And what was your first emotion when you knew at that moment that you will be in that big TV show?
Well, thrilled and very excited. And The Crown is the most favorite show.
The Crown is the crown of...
Razumeš, yeah. And it's not a big role. It's not one of the leads. But even though to be part of such a great, project and such a great team, it was phenomenal.
Also, you played, like I said, Olga. Did you have some pressure because at that moment you knew, I will be in really famous TV show. That role that I played was really famous at that historical time. I need to be the best of myself. Did you have pressure or something when you prepared for that specifically role?
Yeah, but I think we always have pressure. It doesn't really matter who you're playing or in which project you're playing or in which country. You always want to do your best because before going on set, I'm a bit nervous, not shaking, but just, this kind of butterfly feeling inside.
Yeah.
And then I researched, and once Meryl Streep said, she's like, I'm always nervous when I start filming because I want to do my best. So I was like, okay, so that's normal. Yeah.
Also, what I wanted to ask you, we are not going to talk, at least now, about acting. You travel all around the world. I know you met a lot of people. How hard now is to find a boyfriend in UK, USA, Russia, Serbia? Is there any difference when you want to be on a date with someone? Do they have a date, for example, in USA, dating to each other? You travel all around the world because that's the reason why I'm asking you that, because I think that situation to find anyone to be with right now is nearly impossible.
You literally read my mind. I was having this impossible. It's very hard because men nowadays, they're so afraid to be committed, and they lost this gentleman
maybe because
way
women
of
want
dating.
To be more
I think so, yeah. And so in America or in England, those women, they changed the men. So for us Slavic girls, when we were but where are my flowers? But
I can buy myself flowers,
I can't.
Yeah. So the same situation is not only in Serbia, so it's all around the world.
But see, I was surprised that you said that, you told me that in Serbia it's isto.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, honestly shocked, because when I was coming here, I was like, možda sa nekim da nađem.
Yeah.
To je to.
Yeah, but when I also traveled, but I wasn't in UK and that big cities. Here in Serbia, in last few years, I think it's really hard to find even a friend, and not only a boyfriend or something like that. But I don't know what is going on with that, because I know my friends that are single right now, all of them have the same problem. But believe me, all of them are really beautiful. They have work, they're working on themselves. They're not an idiots. But still, for them, it's really hard to find anyone who is at least normal, to have some normal work, and to da ima samopouzdanje.
Ne,
sad ja, kad ne mogu da nađem da ima samopouzdanje.
Pa ne, hoćeš možda da pričaš engleski, srpski?
Pa sad.
Super.
Pa ti mi reci, ja više ne mogu da se odlučim, hoćemo na srpski. Ja ću pričati sad na srpskom, pa ti meni reci, kad ti ne odgovara, ja ću da kažem engleski i onda ćemo tako. Ali sad se vratimo na temu tvog dolaska u Beograd i svega toga. Da li možeš da zamisliš svoj život u ovoj zemlji?
Da.
Šta je ono što ti se ovde sviđa? U smislu, koja su tvoja mesta gde ti voliš ovde da izađeš? Kao klub, kafić, restoran, pozorište. Kako izgleda tvoj jedan dan u Beogradu kada ne snimaš, kada nemaš obaveza? Da.
Sad imam časove.
Dobro.
Za srpski. I don't know, it's very different. Like, prašetam sa psom, poslije idem u neki kafić da čitam knjigu, pišem scenariju, then, I don't know, go with friends out. Pa nije klub, to je kao, ne znam.
Nije klub.
Bar, vinoteka, znaš, nešto tako.
Isto sada si pomenula psa. Za one koji ne znaju, Anastasija ima 2 psa. Jedan je Roj koji je mlada, jedan je Tošica, mislim sada se zove Tošica, ali postoji jedna priča iza Tošice. Ajde ispriči ti nama kako je došlo do toga da udomiš Tošku, odakle želja za tim, kako se Toška zvao pre nego što smo ga svi mi posle nazvali Toška i kako ide ta priča i to što si ti uradila za tog psa.
Oh, well, what happened? Got a bit heartbroken. And then I was like, ajde, hoću psa. Iz azila. Yeah, and that's why. Why Toshka? In Russia, when I was growing up, we had a magazine, and it was called Toshka. And in the O, there was a glava moje Tošice. Ja kao, pa ti si to... O, izvinja, Toška.
But how was his real name when you get him?
Prle. Šta je prle? Razumiš na polju? Prle, come.
But now he is in your life for 5 years.
5, da.
Or 4 or 5, I'm not sure, something like that. But you're traveling a lot, like I said a lot of times before. And now you have 2 dogs. How hard is for you to live your life, to work, and to have 2 dogs that you travel with all around the world? How they feel and act when you're like, today you're in Serbia, tomorrow you're in UK, in 1 month you're in USA with all of them together. So how it looks like?
It's fine. I mean, it's a bit hard and a bit tough because they're like kids. You can't just leave them for 3 months. But they have all the documents and I'm so used to traveling with them that at this point, I mean,
it's not a problem
Nije
for you.
frka za mene, znaš.
But also, there is a thing like, you can travel with all kind of airplane companies with the dogs. Is that true?
Well, now because we have our, all the documents.
Yeah.
I think now we can travel with every.
Yeah.
Ito Airways, that's Italian. They're the best because they accept Roy inside the cabin.
Really?
Yeah.
For Toshica, I know that
Toshica
you can be with, but Roy is really big. He's Labrador, I think.
Da.
So he's really big to be in the cabin. So that's amazing to know. Wow, Anastasia. But did you bring them to any set or something, or when you were working there at home?
Where?
In Serbia, in London, wherever you are, when you were filming.
Da ili ne? Da? Mislim. I don't know.
I don't know.
When I lived in America, they were with me. In London, they were with me. Now they're with me. So I guess yes.
Do you thinking about maybe having more animals or
No.
animal shelter?
No, neću.
Why?
Pa imam
It's
2,
obligation,
Maša.
yeah.
2.
You have 2 kids.
I have 2 kids, literally. Well, one old man who doesn't hear anymore. To znaš, zoveš, Tošica! A on je, I Roj, budalo. Super.
But when we are speaking about that, and we are going back to that acting career, you have you played in a different styles of acting. You were in horror movie, in a epoha, in modern movie like Južni vetar. So you've been to a different different situations and everything. Also, what is interesting to me about your horror movie, The Hunting, am I right?
It's True Hunting, but I think they changed the name now. It's like Haunting in the Wicked Park or something.
Whatever, you played there. So, was it different to play in any horror movie or in any other normal movie like drama, comedy, thriller, whatever? Is there any difference? Because there is lot of transformations and things like that.
I think it's because I was playing like a girl that doesn't have like a very, it's not a historical character.
Yeah.
It's just like a person that I can create as I see her.
Yeah.
But there was one thing in the movie, pigeons.
Okay.
And I'm terrified of pigeons.
Why?
Like plašens. Ne znam zašto.
And how did you handle that?
Good. I was a good cast for a horror movie. A pigeon.
You don't need to do.
I didn't even need to play.
Yeah. You're just being yourself there.
Da.
I know also there is one story about your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please tell us the whole story? I want to introduce more about it because Anastasia will tell us really interesting story about her grandma.
She was a very powerful lady back in the USSR. She worked in a bank and was a CEO of the bank. And
she was the first woman.
I don't know, like a first woman or not, but I don't know, like 70s, 60s. Can you imagine, like, for a woman be a CEO? It's like, it's kind of impossible. So somehow she got there. And once my dad told me, he's like, but your grandmother knows Yushchenko, the ex-president of Ukraine. I was like, And she's like, yeah, he was a kid then, and he was under me. Like when we came to the Ukrainian office, I always had to be like, come on, do this and do this. And I was like, interesting. And then he becomes a president. I'm like, wow.
Wow, my grandma knows you. Wow.
Razumiješ, to je kao.
This totally amazing story.
Ne, super. Super ona žena.
But Anastasia, you also had the opportunity to work with a really, really famous, let's say, director, scriptwriter, whatever, Slobodan Šijan, in a movie Budi Bog sa nama. What was your experience working with that kind of Serbian legend in movie industry?
Oh, he's amazing. It was really, really cool because we traveled van Beograda, snimali malo ovde. But the only thing I remember, because I didn't understand Serbian at all, I was only, learning it. I had to learn, and that was me playing in Serbian. So I had to learn my lines and everyone who's in the scene to have a normal like reaction, because they had to know the translation and understand when their sentence is ending.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was really hard. How much time do you need to learn all of that?
That was actually quite quick, because it's a bit like avant-garde, and I think maybe like in a couple of weeks I knew everything. But
what is your dream role to play?
Dream role?
Yeah. What is something that you, at this moment of your life, what is like the best role that right now you can have to play in what kind of a movie, TV show, to be what?
I think maybe like a lead in a period drama based on historical events.
I can see that you really love historical events.
I love history, yeah. Something like BBC,
Why do you like that much history? Did you learn any history? Did you study history before in any university? But you were
political science, probably, kind of, but like from a political point of view. I don't know, it's very interesting to read about it and, like how people lived back then, how they thought, what they were doing.
What is your favorite historical period?
Drama. The Crown.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I don't know, I can't really say which one, a film. I like also Vikings.
Vikings? Wow.
I love playing Vikings.
But you
see me as a Viking?
I can see that. But you know also a lot about Serbian history because of all the plays that you learned. What is do you have any favorite history of Serbia that you like the most at this moment?
Oh, I really like the period of Tito when he was ruling, because I read about him a lot, and I think he was a very magnificent and a very interesting man, because, first and the last president of Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is, this small, and you have Velika Russia, Velika America, Stalin and Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
And how he was balancing the two powers, and basically he threatened Stalin, He was friends with Kennedy. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And his love, for beautiful clothes. And he always visited actors and the Pool Film Festival.
Yeah, he was into everything. And he was like real gentleman, let's say like that.
Yeah, no, cool.
Also, what I wanted to ask you is like, we talked about relationships, but like boyfriend things.
Yeah.
I want to talk about friendships right now. You have friendships in Serbia, in UK, in every country. But are they different? Is this different kind of relationships in Serbia or in any other? Are you doing the same thing with all of us in different countries, or how it looks like?
I think it's if you connect with the person.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So it's different because all people are different.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're friends, you're friends.
Yeah. But we didn't talk about, we started talking about Južni vetar, but I need to say to others, if they don't know, about Miloš Biković.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the guy who helped you, not helped you, but I don't know the story. Tell me about how did you go to Južni vetar? You said you have Serbian producer. Was that him or?
No. It's another Serbian producer.
Because everyone, sorry for interrupting you, everyone was like, some new Russian actors are coming to Serbia. Miloš, somehow you're connected to him. Not like in relationship, like connected to him by work. Like he brought you here or something like that.
Yeah. So I sent all of my documents to a producer who works more with Kusturica.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was on this film or he sent my documents to them because I don't know the information. But I know I had a casting and then everyone disappeared for a month. I was like, okay. And then Miloš Avramović, we had kao Zoom sastanak. Posle, again, everyone disappeared for a month. I was like, okay. And then I had another casting and a call with Miloš and everyone disappeared for 3 weeks. And they were like, hoćeš ulogu? Ja kao, hoću. To je to.
Oh my God. But
it was an interesting process, but also you're not kind of like waiting for anything. Like you're not expecting.
Yeah.
But it was like those like.
What are you working on right now? Can you tell us more about that? You will be for a few months here in Serbia for now.
I don't know if I can talk about it.
Okay, you can. You don't need to say name or something, but you're doing what? You're filming
series.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay. So. And that's it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, dobro.
NDA.
Okay, I understand. It's only one TV show that you are doing, or there are more, or what? And what is your plan?
So at this point, it's a series, and then hopefully I get other castings in Serbian films. And as soon as I get my Serbian accent, then I want to
play in the theater.
Igra u pozorištu, da.
Why that? Lot of actors, some of them loves to play in theaters and to be on TV shows, movies, and something like that. But some of them don't want to play in theaters. Why? I think that real actors should play also in theater and also to have TV shows and everything else, because I think that two kinds of acting are totally different.
Da. Yes.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Because when you're filming something on set, right, you can start with your last scene and then film the beginning and the end. So it's very different how you prepare for the role and how you prepare for the day. But in theater, I don't know, it's very different. You kind of put on this lik and you play for 2-3 hours and you're in that state.
Is it true that Serbian people mostly think that Russian and Serbian are really similar?
Oh, languages?
Yes. Is that true for you? Because you know Russian, you're learning Serbian. Is that hard or easy to you to learn?
It's a bit harder because so it's very oni slični zvuče. Ali every single word, well, not every, but a lot. They're the same, but the meaning is absolutely different. So u mojoj glavi haos.
Hey, I need to ask you, when you say that, on which language do you think? It depends where you're living at the moment.
Da. Engleski ili ruski.
Are you changing your like identity when you're changing the language, or you're the same person?
I think I'm the same.
Oh, I think I'm changing my personality.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Everything sounds like more beautiful in English, but when you really want to say something and to have a point, that's Serbian. You know,
I agree. Yes.
For example, if you want, ako želiš da opsuješ nešto, ja verujem da te na svakom jeziku, čak znači kada na srpskom opsuješ, na svakom jeziku može da te razume da si mu nešto rekao. Sad ne mora možda da razume šta, ali imamo tako širok spektar i reči i ono, znači stvarno jezik je potpuno drugačiji od tog engleskog, možda lepše zvuči engleski, ali stvarno srpski jezik kao takav i zato te i pitam to za ruski, jer mnogi misle da je sličan i zvuči slično, pogotovo verovatno nekome ko nije sa Balkana, pa su to slični jezici.
Energiju, znaš? Ja.
A koliko je, mnogi se žale i mnogi govore u poslednje vreme da je u Srbiji sve znatno poskupelo, da je generalno skuplje od hrane do izlazaka, do pića, do garderobe, nego što je nekada bilo. Eto, baš zbog toga što smo 100 puta rekli koliko putuješ svetom, bila si svuda. Da li je stvarno u Srbiji toliko skupo iz tog ugla kada porediš sa Londonom, Amerikom, Moskvom? Gde je tu Srbija? Ko je tu najskuplji u toj priči?
Okay, well, if you are going back to like 3 years ago when I lived here, you see the difference. Everything went up, but if you can't compare with America and London. Because in London, it's, I guess, like 3 times more. In America, probably 4 times more.
Wow.
Which is like, nije normalno.
Wow.
Da.
How do you live like that? So when you come to Serbia...
Normalno, radim tamo, razumiješ.
I'm working there and living here. Perfect combo.
To je da.
But a lot of people are doing that. Because a lot of people really love Serbia to live, even to work.
Ma za život to je najbolje. Znaš?
What is your home right now at this moment?
I don't know. I think now Serbia, Belgrade. Yeah, now Belgrade and then I think Belgrade and London. So kind of in between both.
Anastasia, I know that we have a lot of topics to talk about, but our time is
finish.
We're finished, and now
I will
and now I will speak on Serbian just for vas, zbog vas da da možete da nas razumete i na ovom našem jeziku, tako da sad ćeš ti za kraj isto da pričaš srpski.
Hoću, ajde.
Ovako, Anastasija.
Da.
Hvala ti što si bila u mom podcastu, Mašinom podcastu. Meni je bilo zadovoljstvo zato što smo mi već imali priliku da radimo intervju i tako smo se zapravo i upoznale pre 4-5 godina. Da. I ovo je samo delić onoga što smo sada počele da pričamo, jer ovo nije ni dubina, niti ovo je bukvalno samo više različitih stvari, ali doći ćeš opet i stvarno ćemo se fokusirati na neke određene teme i moći ćeš mnogo više da pričaš sa svojim projektima. Da. Tako da, Anastasija, bilo mi je zadovoljstvo što...
Bože men, hvala ti puno.
I sledeći put ceo internet...
Samo srpski hoću.
Dobro, dogovorili smo se.
To je dogovoreno.
Hvala i vama što ste gledali Masin Podkast i hvala estetskoj klinici Una Residence i doktoru Nikoli Borovčaninu koji su sponzori ne samo ove priče, već i svih ostalih koje gledate svake subote u 6 sati na YouTube kanalu Masin Podkast. Doviđenja.